Okay. So balakah shalam agachat. So now here meaning is clear, like boy went to school. Again you have balakah shalam gatwan. So boy went to school, same thing. Now you are saying using the kridanta, kartari kridanta, that was ktavatu. Balaka is pumlinga, so you are using gatvan as pumlinga ktavatu pratyaya. Now the same sentence we are going to say in karmani bhuta. So we'll say balakena shala agamyata. So this is your verb. This is the in prathama karma, and this is your doer. So if you see here, here should be balakena shala gata. It is written here gataha. So now since this participle has to be in sync with this fellow's gender, karma's gender, and karma here is feminine, it should be gata, not gataha. So it's all same. There is no such extra effort or big thing you need to understand. Only one thing you have to do, that is the practice. So initial, don't worry at all. Initially you practice this way, uh, and once you will start seeing the uses, like in Sankshepa Ramayana and all those things we will start studying, then you will practice it in uses, then everything will get solid in your head. So we'll just quickly summarize this again. So what till now we have done, we have seen like how karmani bhutakal prayogas will be. So first we saw like how the verb form will be. So first this is the last place where we are showing both. For karmani means atmanepadi also, parasmepadi also. Now onwards we will not show, because actually the form of both is same. So the way this is derived, the same way this also is derived. So this derivation, it is written here how the derivation is: apathyata, apatyetam, apathyanta. And the difference you have to remember is like in normal kartari bhutkala, this ta is not ending with swara. Here it ends with swara. So this we read, and then we came and we read about kta pratyaya. Kta pratyaya, ta only remains. It's a kridanta pratyaya, so it gets applied directly on dhatu. After application, whatever words are formed, they are three, means for all gender, all three genders, since it's a noun. And since it's directly made from dhatu, so it will have some action feeling inside. So you can use them as a verb also, as a action shower word or padam also. So if we take our pat dhatu, so when ta is added, so patitaha, patita, patitam. This way it will become. Now we have seen like there are these four prayogas, four ways of telling past tense, whatever we know till now. One is using direct pure verb of lang lakara, and using kartari, karta and karma. Then we used, instead of this verb, we used the participle, that was ktavatu for kartari. And here patitwan is there because this is saha. If it was sa patham patitwati, if it is sa feminine, then it will become patitwati. Same thing we converted into karmani. So what we did last time, saha will go in tritiya, so that became tena. Patham is a ekvachana dvitiya, so it will convert to prathama ekvachana, that will become pathaha. And this verb will convert to karmani verb. So converting that, ya will come and te comes there. So similarly, ya and ta, complete ta, comes in bhutkala. So tena, by him, patha, lesson, apathyat is read. Now you have a participle for karmani also. So that is kata, this one. Here you will see tena patha pathitaha. Now we are using pathitaha, not pathita, because the gender of patha we have to follow here. So gender of patha is, gender of this we will not follow. So we can say taya patha pathita. That also is fine, because this karta is not related to verb now. Karma is related. So in second one, you can see there is one mistake. So balakena shala gata should have been. So this is as simple as this. So now we'll see the lot also, because again this also is just verb form. There is no other concept involved. Once you know karmani, everything is just verb form and practice. So here also if you see same, if we take same dhatu, now we are not showing atmanepadi and parasmepadi because both of their forms are same. So we are taking one dhatu only, that is pat. And for pratham purusha, madhyam purusha and uttam purusha, you can see pathyatam, pathyetam, pathyantam. So this is the form. Earlier in atmanepadi we had seen vandatam, vandetam, vandantam. So same thing became here. This ya came because this ya has to be there everywhere to clearly tell it is a karmani verb, not a pure atmanepadi kartari verb. So most of the time your karma is now going to stay in prathama. So when he is going to stay in prathama, then your this verb also will match, and it verb also will stay in prathama purusha only. So because of that, only first this pratham purusha form only you will see in uses. Seeing madhyam purusha and uttam purusha form will be very rare. So it is going to make your thing further easy. Even in book they are not writing these two forms. They are telling you need not to know these two. You know only this because you will use only pratham purusha form. So passive verbs uses lot in second and third person is rare. So that is why I am showing in red here, and it is used in pratham purusha, so that is in green. So it is one type only. So now we are not showing padi as I told. So when you are changing atmanepadi verbs, their change is very small. So in last slide also I told, but I am explicitly telling again because it is easy to mistake. So kartari to karmani, when you will change, then vandatam will become vandyatam. So this is very small change and very easy you can miss. So like if you have a sentence bhavan vandatam, right? So you pray, you please pray. So here it will become what? Bhavata vandyatam. So praying should be done by you. So when if verb you change, then the like meaning will change. So you have to be careful. Then same ikshatam will become ikshyatam here. So similarly in kartari, if you have to say the same thing, so you will use the kartari lot. So kartari lot is pathatu, pathatu, pathatam, pathantu. So here it will become pathyatam, and likhatu will become likhyatam. So if you are converting from kartari to karmani, then this thing you have to know. Again, this is practice. There is not more than anything else which we need to tell you in this level. There are, if you are coming grammar way, then there are things to be told, but at this, whatever detail book has and whatever detail this course has, it is not required. So with this, you have to only resort is practice, and if any doubt is there, obviously we'll see that. So with this now, I think Bhave Prayoga is left, and that also is a very similar and simple like whatever we saw till now. Going forward, I think in next class we will cover that also. So with that, now slowly we'll start other independent things, so which you can start making some base, so that like we can use these things to understand your other part of chapters. So suppose, why I am saying this, suppose if I start from chapter 1 and then there are some sandhis which you have to break, but in chapter 1 you don't know sandhi. So I have to tell you like this is like this as of now. Later in chapter you will read something why it is like this. Same way for Karmani. I told in first class, like the shloka itself, first shloka itself has Karmani Prayoga. So at that time, if I have to explain, I will say like, okay, assume it like this. Later you will come to know. So you also, when you feel like he is doing everything very fast and covering here and there, jumping there and there, so just stay with me for some time. Once we are done with these 5 chapters, and once we'll start the sixth class, you will appreciate this. And not so not for putting things on hold till fifth class. I am wherever I am getting some time, I will introduce some new things what which are not dependent on anything, and they also will build your base so that you can understand your chapters when we start to better. So one of them is Sandhi. So Sandhi is ikaranta. So when it will go in plural, then it will become Sandhaya. So let's see what we have. So there are some misconceptions in Sandhi. So let's clear them first. So first thing first. So why there is a Sandhi? Because Sanskrit is a phonetic language. So it takes too much attention to take care of its pronunciation of its sounds. For vague or some comparison with English, you can see if you have to have does not. So you can write doesn't, do not, you write don't. Like that, I would, you will like I, then apostrophe D, I would, like that. Even when you will pronounce, then also sometimes you pronounce in same way. So that you can assume this way, like you are two different words, they are coming together either for ease of pronunciation or because of anything else, and they are merging into one, still they are giving the same meaning. So that you can say like it's a kind of Sandhi. So in contrast to that, if you come in Sanskritam, so what happens here, when two words are getting pronounced without very less gap, so then what happens here, the phonetic of Sanskritam tells, when two words are getting pronounced without much gap, then last word of first letter and first letter of second word, they get changed. Not in all cases, in some cases, because that is the place where joining is happening. So then what happens, they change the sound and they start sounding differently. This particular thing is called as Sandhi. So that is what I had tried to write here. Just understand, this is a basic concept. So if you did not understand, please note it or please send in chat. We'll discuss after once I'm done. So two words pronounced without gap in last letter of first word and first letter of second word, sometime change happens. This change is called as Sandhi. Word meaning of Sandhi is joining. So this is a big statement. So let's see how we can understand in with some using some words. So now we have two words, atra, eva. So first we will see, you have to start understanding what is the last word in first shabda. So if you split it, this I used Sakalyam splitting tool for splitting. So if you split atra, you will see it is made of a, the, r and a. So I will conclude this word is akaranta ending in a. And when you pronounce it with eva without gap, so what will happen? Eva is made of a, va and a. So this a is the last sound of first word, and this a is the first sound of second word. So just try to pronounce this your own. Atra eva, atra eva, atra eva. So you will see the sound, if you pronounce it without gap, you will not pronounce these two separately, but you will pronounce this. So you can try your own also. Atra eva. So now whatever you are pronounced, whatever sound is coming, if you split that sound, then you will find that it's this sound has many sound what was there in original two words. A was there, A is there. Ta was there, Ta is there. Ra was there, Ra is there. This A and this A is not there. Instead of these two, we have a this sound, A. And Wa was there and A is there. So you can see now when these two words, if you separate them, if you pronounce atra, then take a pause and then eva, then nothing happened. They both still stand separate and they both still give meaning. But in conversation, you can't do this way, right? That after every word, you will take a long pause to make them separate. So you in fluent speaking, when you are speaking, then this is not possible. Then those cases when two words will come near, then the ending and starting may get merged. If after merging they are changing, the sounds are changing, then you will say there is a sandhi. So all the conditions are required and necessary here. So first you need to have two words. Second, you have to have ending and starting here. Third, these two should change. If they are not changing, then there is no sandhi, right? So we'll understand this going further, this concept further also. And this is sandhi is very simple. Whatever you have at this level, this is very simple. It's like a basic math. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So but I want you to understand the concept of it, concept behind it. So there are two words. Chatur is 4. Mukha means mouth. So if I say I join Chaturmukha, so then I will write it together as Chaturmukha. So I am asking, this word is made of sandhi, or sandhi is here in this expression. If the question is this, anywhere where you have to figure out like is sandhi is there, then what you have to satisfy here, you split this word, split this word, split this word, and see if all the sounds whatever this word was made of, all the sound whatever this word was made of is present as is without any change in this, then there is no sandhi. What we are seeing here is a maybe different way of writing, maybe some script feature like this is written different way. So let's see this. So you see for chatur, cha, a, ta, u and ra. This much you have. Then mukhaha, ma, u, kha, aha. Now you joined it. So you joined and got this word. We splitted this again. Cha, a, ta, u, ra, ta, u, ra, ma, u, kha, aha. So if you see cha, a, ta, u, ra, cha, a, ta, u, ra, ma, u, kha, aha, ma, u, kha, aha. So there is no vikara, no change. No change happened when you wrote it this way and when you are writing in this way. So we will say this is only a way of writing which looks different from this when they are writing separate. There is no sandhi, right? So wherever you see, you will, if you see something, some word like this and you understand this word like this is made of two different words, so you should not assume like everywhere there will be sandhi where two words are written together. So there may be this is they are looking different from the different two words because script writes something differently. Like here script did what? It moves this ra as a on top in some other format, and because of that it is looking different. but it is actually not different. So there is no sandhi. Sandhi will happen only when your this sounds here will get changed, or vikara. There will be some destruction of the sound what was originally there. So with this much knowledge, we can conclude like sandhi always happens between two varnas, two letters. It is not happening between two words, right? That is one conclusion. So second, now the question in your mind should come. So like if I pause, sandhi disappears. So that is true. So most of the cases, if you pause, there is no sandhi. So if you read any shloka, so how, if you see how any learned person reads, if you say Bhagavad Gita, so when they will read, what they will do, they will take breath after reading after reading one pada. So because they are taking breath, so there is a pause. So what they do, they break the sandhi there. So whatever letter is there at half, they will break the sandhi there, because now I am taking breath. So if you take breath, if you take pause, there is no sandhi. Sandhi is defined by the rule like samhitayam. It says when there is togetherness, closeness, then only there is a sandhi. But there are some cases where this rule doesn't apply. So they are exceptions. As of now, you don't need to know them. It is fine to assume at this level, like if you give a pause, there is no sandhi. So again, this is again a big misconception. So when you join these two words, so is this new word is a single word? Or the question is, do we, after joining these two words, it becomes a single word? So no, it doesn't become a single word. It still remains two word. The moment you will see this word, you will not understand the meaning of this complete word as a whole. You will understand this as part of two different words. Still, even though it has a vikara, it has some different sound came because of the process, but still it is a two word and still meaning remains the same. There is a way to join two different words and make a new word, which may give meaning of two or may not give meaning of two, something different, or may give meaning in some different context of these two. So that process is called as samasa. So that you will read in your fourth level. In sandhi, these two words after joining, they will not become one. They will still remain two different words, and they will still have meaning of different words only. They will not give any one meaning. And this way of saying will disappear if you remove the togetherness or the closeness. If you give a pause, this will again disappear. Sandhi will disappear. So that is what here I have written. So I think this all is the what misconceptions mostly people get while reading. So I wanted to clear them in the beginning, and then we will see it further. Any question you get any moment in your mind, just either write in chat or keep it with you. We'll address them at the end. So now, how many type of sandhi can be? So since we know now the funda is there are two words, ending of one word and beginning of other word is going to define the sandhi. So let's see how it can be, how many types. So there can be first word. This is sometimes this is called as purva varna. Purva means before, and dvitiya shabda is called as paravarna. Para means after. So but that is little technical, so that is why I wrote it in this way. प्रथम शब्दस्य अंतिम वर्णः द्वितीय शब्दस्य प्रथम वर्ण प्रथमः वर्णः. So if prathama shabdasya antim varna is swara, so like in this case here prathama shabdasya antim varna was swara. You have to keep in mind, you have to see inside the word. So like here if you see, anyone can say antim varna is tra, but it is not. You have to think split in your mind and figure out what is the ending sound. So if first word ends with swara sound and second word also starts with swara sound, like in our this example. First word is ending in swara sound, second word starting in swara sound. So in this case, sandhi will called as swara sandhi, or because swaras are called as ach also, so you will it may be called as ach sandhi. Then if first one is swara and next one is vyanjanam, so what will happen? Resulting sandhi will be vyanjana sandhi, and vyanjanas are called as hal, so sandhi will can be called as hal sandhi. So if anywhere Vyanjana is there, if two Vyanjanas are joining, Vyanjana is coming later, Vyanjana is coming first. In all three cases, the Sandhi will be called as Vyanjana Sandhi. And there may be cases where Visarga comes first and then Vyanjana comes. Or Visarga comes first and then Swara comes. No word start from Visarga, because Visarga will always go at the end of Swara. So no words start with Visarga first. So there is no other way chance. So if Visarga is involved in any of this with Vyanjana or with Swara, the resulting change will be addressed under Visarga Sandhi. So there are, now you can conclude, there are three kind of Sandhis. There are three kind of Sandhis. One is Swara Sandhi, one is Vyanjana Sandhi, and other is Visarga Sandhi. So in this course, we will study only Swara Sandhi. In next course, which is Siksha, we will understand the Vyanjana Sandhi and Visarga Sandhi. Again, these all four courses are for bringing you in Sanskrit studies. So whatever you are studying is very basic. So with this much knowledge, you can't challenge anyone who knows grammar, because there are so many things, prerequisites, which we are not having it in this one because of complexity. So here you become familiar only, so that we can start understanding small shlokas. So we'll move. So now we know, like, so if to conclude, what is Sandhi? Actually, what is not Sandhi? Here we discussed how to figure out there is a Sandhi in the two words, and how to figure out that words are written differently but there is no Sandhi. Sandhi is not joining of two words. Sandhi is joining of two varnas or two sounds or two letters. So these things we cleared, and then we saw how many of sandhis can be are possible, because once we now we know the formula, like ending and beginning letter are going to change, going to decide the sandhi. So with this many possibilities, these many sandhis are possible. So let's move forward. So as per books intention also, and my intention also, I tried to keep it without any grammatical terms, but you need to know some terms. Without them it will be tough to explain them. Essence of those terms, it is hard to explain in English or in any other language. So one of that is called as adesha. So normal vyavhara, this word may means order. So but how grammar defines it, it tells shatruvat adesha. So adeshas are like enemies. So enemy does what? So enemy will come to you, then he will throw you from your house and he will capture your house or your state or your country or whatever you see. So adeshas are some process which are like enemies. As of now, this much only you have to know. When adesha will happen, so whoever is coming as part of adesha will kill or destroy or remove wherever it is going to happen, adesha. Don't get confused much. It just remember this. This is very nicely defined in grammar. Shatruvat adesha. So it will come as an enemy. We'll see further how it is. Then second term is agamaha. Agama is like a friend. So when a friend comes to your house, he will ask some space or take a chair and sit with you. So when a new letter comes and sits along with old letters, we will say this is an agama. When a new letter comes and replaces the old letter, we'll say them adesha. This will see very in uses, so it will be clear for initial understanding only. I am telling this. Then another term is there, ekadesha. So if you see here itself, sandhi is there. Actually, it is eka adesha. So ek adesha means one shatruvat adesha. Means there will be two letters in sandhi, you know, the first letter and the last letter. If in place of both the letters a single letter is coming to sit, that is called as ekadesha. Means for both the letters or the sounds, whatever enemy is coming, he will kill both and put himself or herself. So that kind of adesha, that kind of change will be called as ekadesha. And then fourth technical term is purva rupa. Purva rupa is you can see from word also. Purva means earlier, rupa means form. So whatever it was earlier, let's leave that only. So if you can't understand with this, then there is this explanation. So you may see that somewhere sandhi is applicable, but it is not happening because some rule might not be allowing it to happen. All those places it is called as purva rupa. Sandhi possibilities are there, feasibility is there, but because of some other rule or because of some other process or some prescription, it is not happening. So with these four technical words, we'll try to understand our sandhi further. Again, if you have any doubt, please write in chat and please or keep with you. After ending of this discussion, we'll take them one by one and try to explain and clear all the concept related to this class today itself. So now we have seen in last one, sandhis can be classified as three types: swara sandhi or ach sandhi, vyanjana sandhi or hal sandhi, visarga sandhi or visarga sandhi. Second type of classification we can do based on this. If adesha sandhi is there, if in that particular sandhi adesha is happening, means replacement is happening, then that replacement can be of ekadesha, the replacement of one letter at the place of both the letter, or more than one, or replacing only one letter of the two letters. As of now, you see the classification, how it is, you will see when you will see this particular type of sandhi. With this you might have understand, like adesha is if it is of one type, then there will be other types of sandhis also. So again we can say sandhi can be of three types: either agama, either something will come, or adesha, some replacement will come, or purva rupa, some rule will be there, but it will not, adesha or agama will not happen. Again I am repeating, sandhi now can be, with this all discussion we can say sandhi might be of three types here. First, where some new words are coming and sitting in between the last and first word of the two first letters of the two words, or they are replacing, or there is nothing happening, then also sandhi is there because you are telling not to do anything. So that is a different type of sandhi. Since in our this course, we have to study Swara Sandhi, so we'll see how many type of Swara Sandhis are there. So these are the 6 types. Again, grammar books and some people explaining the grammar, different people have explained the grammar. So as per their understanding or their explanation, everybody may not tell like there are 6 type of Swara Sandhis. So when you are telling 6 and somebody says no, there are only 5, don't argue. You tell like whatever I have read at this level, there are 6. If you know it is 5, 6 or 7, then it is fine. Someday I will reach there, then we'll debate. So these are the 6 types which we have to read in this course. They are very simple. If you know all this concept, they are further simple. So this is in this order: Savarna, Dirgha, Guna, Vriddhi, Yana, Yanta, Vanta, Desha, Purvarupa. So now you can see here. So Adesha, here some sound is coming, right? Adesha. So it may be this kind of Sandhi replacement. Then Purva Rupa, this is coming as is. So this all you can, this also might be one of these categories. So if you know now these categories, we will relate it going forward, like this Sandhi is what. So since today we have discussed this much, so let's see one Sandhi also. So we'll see the Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. So now let's understand the meaning. Sandhi already you know, Sandhi is joining. Savarna. Savarna is similar sounding letters. Savarna. Actually, its definition is quite complex, and the way two letters or two sounds are declared Savarna is out of our this course discussion, this thing. So better we understand, like Savarna is similar sounding letters. So how you will say similar sounding letters? So like A sounds A. And remember, these all are swara sandhis. So when we are discussing any letter, they are limited only to swaras, only to vowels, no Vyanjana. For Vyanjana, you will read in different level. That is the next level. So two sounds of swaras which sound similar will be called as savarna, similar varnas, similar sounds. So like a and a are similar sounds, only the timing is different. For a you are saying some amount of time, a sound is same, only you are increasing the timing. So e and e are similar sound, u and u are similar sound, then r and r are similar sound, and r also is considered similar sound to r only. Why? There is some, again some, okay, leave it, just remove, like accept like it is a similar sound. Then second word in this into is called as dirgha. So dirgha, if you don't remember, it's a Hraswa, Dirgha, Pluta. If you remember your Pravesha class, so you know, like swara are, each swara are of 3 types. They can be pronounced 3 types. First is Hraswa, means Ekmatra. So once they are pronounced in one unit of time, like A, then they are called as Hraswa. Then Dirgha means double, elongation. A, and Pluta is 3 matras. A, like that. So here it is telling Savarna Dirgha. It is same similar words and Dirgha, not Hraswa Sandhi. So now you can understand what it is trying to tell. We'll see how it is trying to tell. Then again we are defining, it's a Ekadesha Sandhi. So Ekadesha means at the place of ending letter of first word and starting letter of second word, both the letters will get combined and will be replaced by only one letter. That is the Eka Adesha. Adesha is replacement. Eka means and at the place of both letters, only single letter. So I am making a table. So with intention, like when we will read all the sandhis, so then we will fill this everything here, so that it is easy for you to reference it later and understand it. So if the Purva Varna or the first letter is ending in either A or A, and Paravarna or the second word is starting with A or A, then we will have together on the places of these two things will replace a single A. So we'll see this here. This is Eka Adeshaha. So now you see Eka, after Ka there is a in the Purva Varna, Purva Shabda. And in Para Shabda you have a Dirgha A. But in this, when we did a Sandhi, then now we have replaced A and A with a single A. So these two are Savarna, we replaced with dirgha. That is why we call as Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. This is simplest sandhi in this course, whatever with whatever width it is given. So anywhere you see two A's ending and starting, you replace them with capital A or the dirgha A. E's replace with E. U replace with U. And R replace with R, like that. So let's see some example. So if you want to see actually how it is happening, I would request you to write these shabdas, go to Sakalyam, put them into that word splitter. What the tool section, word splitting is there. Once word is splitted, splitting means what? Because it is in writing. Splitting means that you now know what the word you are pronouncing, what all different sounds it has. Because pronunciation might not be pure because of any reasons. Learning phase is very beginner level, or some influence of local languages or something. So that is why we split the word, because word is anyway written in right form. We may not be able to pronounce that properly, but if word is written, you split that. So once you will split, you will come to know all what those sounds are there in that words. It is another thing like you are able to pronounce those sound when you are pronouncing the word or not, but you will come to know. Once you will come to know, then only you can understand the sandhi. So now if you understand my whatever I said, you can appreciate like sandhi is totally phonetic. It is not a rule given by grammar like do like this. It is a natural rule which is captured in grammar. So if you try to speak atra eva very fast, you will always speak atra eva, regardless you know grammar or you don't know grammar. Grammar is just capturing that thing in a formula so that it can be taught systematically. So for every sandhi, whatever we will learn, there are two aspects of it: joining the words and splitting already joined words. So that all these both things, whatever I am telling here, I am trying to show you in examples. Please come with me, and when you are understanding, you also try to understand in this way. So Purva Varna, or the first letter, Shabda is here Daitya, and Para is Arihi. So we'll see this. So we'll first see if we are pronouncing it correctly. The, I, ta, ya, a. Daitya. So if you pronounce it correctly, you will get a sound at the end. And this fellow is explicitly starting from a. So now what Sandhi is telling? Sandhi is telling Adesha has to happen. Adesha means Shatruvat. It will come like enemy. It will kill these two letters. And it will replace with what? Savarna Dirgha. Savarna means similar sounding letter for these. So that is A and Dirgha. So if you see, it will become Daityarihi. So if you split Daityarihi again, so you will find everything remains same. Only these two got fused and it became Dirgha. You can, it is so simple, you can see 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Means for this example only. So if we see another example, Vidya plus Alaya. Two different words are there, two different meanings are there. Vidya Alaya. If you say with pause, they will say same thing. A house or abode of knowledge. Now, since you are pronouncing it very fast in when you are speaking Vidya Alaya, Vidya Alaya, if you pronounce it, it will automatically start sounding Vidyalaya. So now if you see here, first one is ending with A, second one starting with A. So our again rule says Savarna Dirgha. So they both are already Dirgha, but then again the Shatru is coming, he will kill and replace with one Dirgha. So it will become Vidyalayaha. So this is it. There may be two ways of understanding it. Either you start from here, Vidya plus Alaya is equal to Vidyalaya, or you go back. Take Vidyalaya and split it into Vidya plus Alaya. So you have to know, like there are such some word like Alaya, some word like Vidya, some word like Arihi, some word like Daitya. So if your vocabulary is there, then you can see here and then only you can split. Here, if you know the Sandhi rule, you can join. So joining is always very easy. Splitting requires you to know some vocabulary. So actually some time back, we were writing a program to do the split. So splitting is quite very means it takes too much of effort to split in computer program. While joining is so easy, like if you know programming, you might write these codes for joining all type of words. Maybe within a day, if you put effort for all kind of sandhi, you can write a computer program in one day. You enter two word, it will join and give. But if you have to split, if you give one word and ask computer program to split, uh, writing that perfect code, I think no one has written as of now. And if somebody writes, then it may take months. So which one is important, but at your level, this all is very rudimentary and very simple. So I hope this gave a clear understanding. So we have some 2 minutes, so I will tell this also, because in first, so this is another there is some mistake. Actually, this is Anuvada Paddhati. This is not Sandhi Abhyasa. This is wrong. So there is one section in your chapter which tells about how to do translation. Translation from and to means from English, or here English because English medium book is there. So English to Sanskrit or Sanskrit to English. So they tell like some tips which will improve your translation throughout the book. So first chapter in your book has a very beginner kind of introduction that I am covering here. So it tells like introductions are of two type. Literal means word by word. So that is called as Shabdanuvada. Anuvada is translation and Shabda means one word you take and translate it. And second it purport. So here you have Bhavanuvada. The feeling is translated. So what you have to means any translator when he has to start, he will start from this. You need to know the meaning in meaning of a word in both the languages, and once he will perfect that thing, like he knows most of the meanings, his vocabulary is now solid. Then he will try to understand feeling in one language and convert the feeling into other language instead of converting the words. So if you read in your first chapter, Anuvada Paddhati, then the same thing is written over there. So now why we haven't started this from chapter 1, because in second chapter of this section you need to use the Vidhilinga. So that is why in first class I went through Vidhilinga. So this much only I have for today. And again, today what we covered is chapter 1 Sandhi and Anuvada part, and 6, 7, 8 grammar part. So these two doesn't have any exercises as such, but if you want to do, you can do, because that Savarn Dirgha Sandhi exercises you can do. But 6, 7, 8 very simple grammar part, I would request you to do the exercises.